All right. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're still recapping week 3. So we've looked a little bit to week 4, but we'll see where this goes. We're going to try to hit both with Tom Luginbill here over the next 20 minutes or so. And the show is brought to you by the GMC Sierra Truck, GMC Yukon, pre-owned and new Fowler GMC. Right there, Pearl Brandon. You can visit their website this morning, FowlerGMC.com. That's FOWLER, FowlerGMC.com. We welcome in Tom Luginbill on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Tom Luginbill, how would you assess Arch Manning's play 3 weeks in to the season?
I would assess it from probably a different perspective than others are assessing it, and that is looking at the offense as a whole. Because I'm not so sure right now Texas is where they need to be around him to help him out. Has he played to the standard why everybody is expecting? No. Is it a reasonable standard? No. Has he done some nice things? Yes. But they're banged up at running back. They've replaced 3 offensive linemen. I don't know if they feel overly confident that they just have a bunch of go-to guys for him right now. You know, they haven't been able to get the ball into Ryan Wingo consistently. But I think the number one thing that would frustrate me, if I'm Steve Sarkisian or what have you, is the hero ball mentality, playing outside of himself. If the play's not there, trying to do too much to create something, and then you end up with a negative play. Sometimes, and when the younger you are, the harder this is to do, just chuck it in the 7th row and live to play the next down. And I think he's got to get back to settling in to not trying to do too much.
Okay. All right. So they've got another.
I think it's easy, Bo, I will say this. I think it's very easy to blame everything on him. Because
Sure.
if his name is Arch Smith or Arch Johnson, we're probably not having this level of scrutiny.
Yeah. So they have another warm-up game this weekend, then they take a week off, and they go to Florida, who's not playing well, but I think has good players too, just like Texas.
They do have good players.
Okay, we'll get to that here in just a second. So, a couple weeks from now, and then they go on a heck of a stretch. So they got to get right in the next couple of weeks, or they're going to, they're going to drop some games. Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. He joins us on 105.9 The Zone. All right. What was your takeaway from DJ Lag? So Chris Doring on Saturday night said he wasn't real happy with the play calling from Napier. Didn't feel like he gave Lagway an opportunity to be successful. Obviously, some of the throws were still on Lagway. But what was your takeaway with him throwing 5 picks in Death Valley Saturday night, Luke?
Well, number one, they're throwing it way too much.
Yeah.
He had 47 attempts. That's not what Florida wants to be on offense. So I didn't think they helped him out with balancing the act, whether that's getting creative with underneath easy throws, incorporating the quick screen game, or just flat out attempting to try to run the football better. But when you're on the road, you're playing tonight against LSU in a top 5 team, you turn the ball over 5 times. I don't care if you're playing the 45th team in the country. You're going to have a hard time winning the football game. And I'll say this. That game was won 20-10 by LSU. One of LSU's touchdowns was a pick 6. That game wasn't lost because Florida doesn't have players.
Right.
Something's going on with execution. I don't know why DJ Lagway is regressing. I think he's doing way too much. I think he is pressing. I think he's trying to take too much ownership of feeling like he's got to carry the team as opposed to just making the plays that are there. And I get it. There's a tremendous amount of scrutiny on the program right now, a tremendous amount of pressure. But like Cade Klubnik looks like 2023 Cade Klubnik right now, DJ Lagway looks like DJ Lagway of the first 4 to 5 weeks last year, not the last 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, what's going on? Florida is unique because top 10 public university. You talk to a lot of people down there, and I know you have too. And even though they've been successful under Spurrier and Urban and with Billy Donovan and other sports leagues, it's academic driven and so on. But we put them in as a powerhouse once Spurrier and Urban made their runs. They weren't before that, as you and I know. Growing up, Florida was nothing close to that. What do you, I thought Billy had turned. I thought Napier turned the corner. What's going on down there, Luke's?
I did too. I mean, if you looked at that football team the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season, nobody wanted to play them. They beat Ole Miss. They beat LSU. They were rolling. They were lighting it up on defense. DJ Lagway looked like he was a budding superstar, and it's like they've regressed. And I don't know why. I don't know if anybody knows why. And let's not forget, everybody's on Billy Napier, but if it wasn't Billy Napier, it'd be somebody else.
Sure.
But it makes you wonder, is it an institutional, organizational thing with the university?
Yes.
More so than it is with an individual? Because, Dan Mullen didn't all of a sudden take stupid pills.
No.
Jim McElwain didn't take stupid pills.
Oh.
Like, all of it, there's something that just seems off there, and I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, and I don't know why the regression has happened on offense. That team's got players on defense.
Yes,
now.
they do.
They harassed
Wow.
LSU. So I don't think all is lost. What they can't do is let the outside scrutiny dictate how they perform. And that's a lot easier said than done.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card, Luke's, after Napier ripped off, 5, because I think he can coach. And after they ripped off those wins with DJ on one leg, I thought, damn, they're going to get rolling. And you saw it too on Saturday. I know, I saw you on TV, and they got dudes on defense, Luke's. I mean, they can play. I know. I don't understand.
It's strange. It's really strange. Why, for whatever reason, with their talent base, because it would be one thing when you go on the road, right, and you're playing LSU at night, and you just get outclassed, right? Which a lot of people do. They're just flat out better than you are. That wasn't a talent discrepancy Saturday night. That was an execution problem.
Mm-hmm. And so, all right, let's go to that game. I think Florida can win this weekend. I think they can go to Miami. I mean, Miami's laying 7.5, but I mean, Miami's good, but I don't think anybody's special, by the way. Nobody's jumping off my screen this year yet. This year, we'll see what plays out. They may with you, but do you think Florida can go down there and win this game this weekend?
I think Florida can go down and play toe-to-toe with Miami the exact same way they did with LSU, only if you do it and you screw around with the football and you're sloppy with penalties, then you have no shot at winning.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line. If you're asking me, can they compete with Miami from a talent perspective? Absolutely they can. And I think Miami is a pretty damn good football team.
Yeah.
And they look like they may have turned a bit of a corner. And so, I mean, we'll see, obviously. But you can't, when talent is equitable, it's not necessarily right the plays that you make more so than the other team. It's the mistakes that you avoid.
That's a good point.
You make fewer errors than the other team.
Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. Let's go to Ole Miss and Arkansas. Austin Simmons didn't play, Luke's. He's hurt. Lane can make anybody look good. He's such an amazing play caller. But Trinidad Chambliss from Fair State University put up 412 yards. What was your takeaway from Arkansas at Ole Miss Saturday, Luke's?
Well, clearly they targeted a guy in the transfer portal that they felt could fit into their plans if something happened to Austin Simmons. I thought that kid acquitted himself very, very well. The moment was not too big for him. I mean, you go from Division II Fair State. I've called a couple of their games in the Division II playoffs before. That's actually a really, really good, prominent program. But to go from that stage to that moment in an SEC conference game and not have eyes that look like saucers, I thought was really telling from that kid's temperament and perspective. And he put them in a position to win. It wasn't easy. I mean, they were trading blows and going back and forth. I think Arkansas has improved. We talked about it last week. I said, what's going to happen? I said, fireworks. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I was really impressed with how that kid played.
Yeah, he was awesome. And Lane is so good. I mean, he just dials it up on you, and he understood what Trinidad could do, right? And don't you think he tailored the play calling right around that, and it worked out?
Oh, absolutely, he did. I mean, when you're going into something with a backup quarterback, you're going to condense the play sheet, and you're going to sit down with that guy throughout the week, and you're going to start going through everything. Do we like this? And all right, it's off the sheet. All right, do we like this? Yeah, coach, I love that. All right, let's find a dozen different ways to do that. Do you like this? No. Okay, that's off the play sheet. And you don't put the kid in a position to have to do something he's not comfortable to do. And I think, and that's where coaching comes in. That's how you prepare a guy to succeed. The coach's job is to put the player in the best position to succeed. I thought Lane Kiffin did a masterful job of that.
All right. So Ole Miss hosts John Summerall at Tulane may end up being the hottest coach in the country for a new job, Luke. I don't think Virginia Tech or UCLA are good enough for him. Maybe Tech, but I don't think so. So he needs to wait and see what shakes out. But Tulane, for who they are, they're pretty damn good. And Summerall is an absolute beast of a coach and recruiter. They just beat Duke. Yeah. Ole Miss should win, but I don't know. Tulane could make it interesting for a minute.
Yeah, well, remember I had the game at Tulane with Ole Miss, if you remember.
2 years ago.
Deep into the fourth quarter, yeah. And that thing was a dogfight. Now, it was a really good team for Willie Fritz, but this is also a really good team. And they had, Jake Retzlaff fall in their lap from BYU in July. I mean, you talk about a gift from heaven. Holy smokes. So you have a quarterback immediately jump into the fray for you. It's a great bounce-back location when it comes to the transfer portal because you have such talent in that state. And if they go elsewhere, when they come home, you're going to have an opportunity to have really, really good players. So, heck yeah, I'd be concerned about them.
Okay. Let's go to Georgia at Tennessee. Hell of a win for Georgia, considering everything that played out. Holy smokes. And got to be devastating for the Tennessee Vols because they're pretty damn good too. But Georgia doesn't look, again, they don't jump off the screen at you like they did just a few years ago. And I know we've spread all this stuff out. Yeah. But what's your takeaway on Georgia going into Neyland and getting that win?
Well, I think you also have to have some perspective when you look at Georgia and look at how poorly they looked the first 2 weeks of the season. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you go on the road into that environment and you need your young quarterback to play his butt off. And I thought Mike Bobo did an unbelievable job. Like, when was the last time we saw Georgia offense utilize the quarterback's running ability?
Yeah.
Like, deliberately. And so I thought that was really smart. They're getting the best out of him. I thought he took a big leap in a very difficult set of circumstances. The throw that he made down the stretch there was just an absolute drop in the bucket. So I think that there was some real growth there at quarterback for Georgia. Mm-hmm. I think Georgia's secondary has a lot of work to do. They don't make plays when the play is there to be made. There's too many contested plays that the receiver is winning the matchup. And I think that's got to be corrected. In 2 weeks when Alabama plays, and by the way, nobody's talking about Ty Simpson being the most accurate quarterback in America over the last 2 weeks. Yeah. All he's doing is completing every attempt he throws. Georgia's going to have to get that lined up. I'll tell you, though, I was really impressed with Tennessee, man. I was impressed with Joey Aguilar. Was it perfect? No. Did he show that he was ready for the moment? Absolutely he did. Did he play good enough to win? I think so. And when you get into a game like that, what are you hoping to do as a coaching staff? Let's try to see if we get this sucker in the fourth quarter and maybe have the ball last. Well, they did. And the guy missed the field goal. That's football. It's part of the deal. It sucks, but it's part of the deal. So when that happens, you're always going to look at one play here and one play there. I thought it was a really good showing for two really good football teams, and it's a shame somebody had to lose. And I felt the same way about the Notre Dame-Texas A&M game.
Well, let's talk about that. So Notre Dame's 0-2. You don't want a bye week when they got one, but they did. Yeah. But
they're pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, well, they're like Florida. They have players.
Yeah. Well, they're playing better than Florida, though.
Yes. But, with Florida 1-2 and Notre Dame 0-2, I still look at them and I'm like, man, they got dudes. Look at them in the line of scrimmage. But, hey, give A&M credit in a hostile environment. And Marcel's not a refined QB by any stretch, but he's got skills. Walk me through what you saw in the second half, A&M and Notre Dame duking it out.
Well, first off, imagine having 12 penalties on the road and winning the game.
Unreal.
I mean, that's how sloppy Texas A&M was, but they kept hanging around. I think the thing that I admire about them, and I said the same thing about the Georgia Tech Clemson outcome, is that the Texas A&M Aggies never looked at the scoreboard. They just kept playing. Worry about the next play. Worry about the next series. Let's see if we can climb back into this thing. And when you don't look at the scoreboard, you don't press. And I thought that's where Marcel Reed did a really nice job of showing maturity and keep hanging in there. He took some shots. He wasn't perfect, but then he made a lot of plays that needed to be made when they needed to be made. So listen, you hated to see a team lose in that deal. I thought there were some officiating calls against Notre Dame that I wouldn't agree with, that I thought, impacted the game. But that was just a good football game between two good teams. And, you feel whether you're a Notre Dame fan or not. And it was a very important game for Texas A&M to win when you consider the schedule, the rest of the way. But Notre Dame is sitting there with that record. But how many people have to play Miami and Notre Dame in the first 2 weeks of the season?
True.
No,
I mean,
a lot of teams that might be 1-1 or 0-2 that we look at as being good teams that would have Notre Dame's record right now.
Oh, and Notre Dame could still go like 9-3. So
sure. And don't know if that's going to get you in the playoffs, though, man.
No, I don't. I think you got to go 10-2, which takes me to this weekend: Auburn at Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold was there; he's now at Auburn. John Mateer and his OC are now in Oklahoma. As you know, their wide receivers are now healthy. They had like 5 guys out by Labor Day weekend somehow last year. And Venables looks like he's got this thing tuned up on defense. Are the Sooners going to win this one this weekend?
Well, I think it's going to be a matchup that will challenge them more so than Michigan because of the experience on the offensive side that Auburn has. If you're an Auburn fan right now, you got to be very encouraged by what you've seen. And if anybody who doesn't think the quarterback position is important, just look at Hugh Freeze, his first 3 years at Auburn, and look at him right now.
Yeah.
Right? The quarterback has changed everything. So they've made good decisions in the transfer portal in the offensive line. They've got wide receivers. Jeremiah Cobb's got back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, and Auburn's got guys on defense. I think this is going to be a really fun game. The experience of Jackson Arnold, if he doesn't get caught up in the emotion of going back there, it's one thing to have a chip on your shoulder. It's another thing to let it consume you. So I think he's got to show the maturity to handle that. This will be the best offense as a whole that Oklahoma has played against. So I think it's going to be a back and forth deal, and it's going to come down to not so many plays. It's going to come down to mistakes.
Okay. I can't wait. Auburn at Oklahoma this weekend. All right. We talked about it last week. I want to talk about where you started at quarterback. Georgia Tech, Haynes King, take care of Dabo and Clemson. And I mean, they've just bottled something cool there, and they're tough as hell. How good is Georgia Tech?
I think they're very good. You know what they are? They are the ACC's version of Vanderbilt right now.
Okay.
So you have a football team that embodies their head coach's personality. They play the game the right way. They're tough. They're physical. They're mentally tough. They don't beat themselves. They have an absolute warrior under center that, he's one of those guys. Have you ever seen that meme of like Tom Brady when he's sitting on a bench and he's got his head hanging down, and it says, if you ever see Tom Brady sitting like this on the sideline, your team's about to lose.
Yes.
Right? That's what happens when Haynes King gets off the ground and looks like he's torn his ACL, broke his wrist, and snapped his neck. When he looks like that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just think they're a really good football team. And I think that they are based upon like the core principles that every coach in America, regardless of what scheme you run, would like to describe their team as. Tough, physical, hard-nosed, don't beat themselves, low penalties, low turnovers, all of those different traits, that's exactly who they are.
Well, Brent Key, I know that's his alma mater. Watch out. He may win his way out of there. But I agree with you on Haynes King and Diego Pavia. Those guys just like to throw down and beat you. I got 30 seconds. Who's the best team in the SEC right now?
Best team in the SEC right now. Holy smokes. 30 seconds. You're going to have to give me 28 of them. I would probably say LSU or Georgia. I've not decided yet. I think it's too early to tell.
Okay. All right. And we'll talk next week about Dabo and Clemson. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it, Luke.
All right, buddy. See ya.
He joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. It's National Double Cheeseburger Day. Shout out to Burgers, Blues, Barbecue and their 3 locations, including the one in Dogwood, Flowwood. Also a shout out to McBee's Bar and Grill on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. And another shout out to Martin's in Livingston. Have a good day. Everything's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you tomorrow.